And this actually ties into something else I wanted to talk about, all right? So every now and then I see like a video on Reddit. Okay, I browse Reddit, and so, you know, Reddit has its leaning and its type of things it likes to share, and it likes to do its people gawking, where, you know, oh, look at this person being awful kind of thing. I find it a little bit draining, but I sort of tolerate it when I browse Reddit, which is a strange thing to do, really. Like, maybe I should find a better platform to waste 5 minutes on the toilet on, you know? But, so there's like a big thing happening right now, and I'm sure many of you have heard about it and had an opinion on it. But the president, Trump, has tweeted a video and given support to the people in the video, and one of them is very clearly shouting white power. Now, when it comes to critiquing Trump, there is obviously a lot of divisiveness and division around this topic, but for the longest time, people have tried to just attack him on superficial stuff, you know, and never on really, like, hard issues. You know, if he looks unwell one day, they'll talk about it, they'll attack him for his diet, or, you know, and all of that just, it dilutes the real reasons to critique his actions. And I think today really saw a strong reason to critique his actions, but because there's been so much trying to take small little things and blow them into big things, especially around racism with him, which I believe the guy is probably just a sort of a bigot who maybe doesn't realize he's a bigot, in a way. That's my interpretation of him, right? And he's tweeted this thing out, and because there's been this like constant narrative of him being attacked for all sorts of ridiculous reasons, as well as, you know, legitimate ones, I think we're going to see this moment where his base will probably defend him on this, and it seems like one of these moments that is really indefensible. Okay, if you're going to defend him on this, you're pretty much endorsing shouting white power. And I saw it today. I read a little bit about it, and it just felt like, is this just going to be another thing in the ongoing Trump fiasco, or is this going to be a serious moment for like saying, wait a second? Because I mean, he's been accused of it for a long time now, of like dog whistling to the you know, alt-right or extreme right, and this requires some mind reading. You have to kind of say, oh, I know what he really means, and that becomes quite defensible if you're on the other side. But now someone is shouting white power, and he is defended and endorsed them, and if his base then defends him for that, just feels like a nasty step in the wrong direction, big time. Like, there's a clear line being crossed there, right? And, you know, to any Trump supporter out there, I hope maybe that is a moment to actually reflect on what he's doing and saying. Brian Buckley says, I'm not racist, I disagree with racists every time. Yeah, the thing is, you know, someone who's a racist can say something not related to race that you can agree with, right? And it's that kind of association. Like, there's been too much of like any little thing he does, let's try and connect the dots. Oh, it's really about this. And it's been, I think, so unhelpful the way he's been just, you know, because people dislike him from the get-go, they're just trying to find any old reason to attack him for it. And it really dilutes the moments where it's quite serious. And this is a moment that seems really serious. I mean, the video, it happens in the first few seconds. It's not like he can say, oh, didn't even notice it was there. It's way too blatant to deny it. If he does deny it, you know, you're playing a game of, well, I'm lying and everyone knows it. Let's see what happens. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. What is a bigot, says quiet one. You know, it's a word I've learned just through hearing other people say it. So to give you an exact definition, I'm not sure, but the way I would describe someone who's a bigot is like holding prejudices against someone based on class, sex, religion, any sort of factor like that, holding some sort of predisposed position towards them, right? That's what I described as bigotry. And yeah, I think the president is a bigot, but probably the sort that kind of holds those views more casually without thinking about them. Like, if you listen to his speeches and the way he talks, he's a very, very self-assured, confident, what I say is the truth kind of person. And I think he operates from a mindset of like, how can I win? How can I make this right? As opposed to being someone who might think through the ethics of what they're doing and saying. Like, it's more self-centered thinking. And so, you know, I don't think the guy like wants this group of people or that group of people to be like removed or eliminated, but just falls into that sort of candid bigotry. I don't know. Something like that. Going back to the Trump thing. So in this video, it's got, I've seen this time and time again, it's got, you know, the opposing side supporting Democrats or Republicans or whatever, and they're in range of one another. And what are they doing? They're shouting insults at each other, calling each other a-holes. And I've seen so many videos like that pop up. And every time I see them, I'm like, why do people want to do this? Like, why do you want to scream arsehole at each other? It's like, there's that person and there's this person, and because they're wearing a t-shirt or they're waving this little banner that says I'm a Democrat, I can see it unfold. It's like, now all the things that person thinks the other type of person is, and vice versa, just causes them to shout and scream at each other. And it's so destructive. And I tell you, like, imagine those people met and they weren't wearing their Trump shirt, their Biden shirt, and they were at something they shared an interest in together. You know, a sports game. And politics just didn't come up. Conversate with one another. Have a chat. And talk about people's families and what they're up to and what they do for a living. I can picture people getting along. And yet, this politics thing just, it's so divisive. And so when you see these like people screaming at each other, I'm also thinking like you surely you know this doesn't lead anywhere. Like you don't go like, oh, you support that guy, you're an a-hole, and then that person's like, oh yeah, I am. Oh, good point. Like, shouting insults at each other, how's that going to change anyone's mind? It's just going to entrench one another. And then the next time you see someone with that shirt on or whatever, you're going to think they're like the last person. It's so ridiculous. How did it get to this? Trust me, about the political shirts, they still behave like juveniles. I unfortunately have to deal with that type of person daily in America, says Hume Watts. Well, I don't know that. I don't know that. Like, that's usually the reason they're shouting at one another, right? So if you take that away and both people talk to each other on some other terms and don't bring that up, can't you imagine them getting along? I think I can. You can't change a person's mind unless they're already open to learn something new. That's very true. That doesn't happen in a debate because the whole point is to defend your own side and not to learn. Yeah, that's why I like conversation more than debate. Although the two have shared boundaries, right? And the other thing as well, like, again, like the Trump stuff, okay, talking about testing less. It was so bizarre to say him here that, I mean, I really struggle. I've always tried to try and understand, but lately that guy is just saying stuff that just blows my mind.